This area looks awful and I want to see if I can transform it into a proper lawn. Because at the moment I've got this horrible rocky ground, it's uneven, full of stones and looks a complete and utter mess. And there's absolutely no chance of grass growing on it, but by the end of this video you'll be shocked at the result. Right, prep first. So what we're going to do, go around, get rid of any of the big rocks and lumps and bumps and start to clear the area. There are so many rocks. So what we're doing, we're getting rid of all them big rocks because grass won't be able to grow through them. With the smaller stuff, the little stones, little bits of debris, it's not really going to matter because you'll see in a minute we're going to topsoil the whole thing and get our levels right and where we want them to be. But the big stuff definitely needs to come out. So we're just leveling this off now, getting it somewhere near level. It hasn't got to be perfect because we've got a few inches of topsoil to go on the top, and then that will actually be what we use to get that final level. This stage is just to get any humps off it and fill any massive lows and get any of them bits out that we don't want in there. And we want our lawn to match as close to the concrete edging as possible. So you can see here it's a little bit high. We're going to get a rake and take the top off this area of the lawn and chuck it in that side where it's a little bit low. And it's really going to pay off spending this little bit of extra time getting this as level as we can. And then we'll give that one final going over with the leaf rake and then we'll shovel them out. Right, that's starting to look something now. And I hear a lorry. There's only 14 tons of the stuff. Now, quality topsoil is important because we're using a turf. Yes, the turf is already in soil, but we want to give it a few inches of topsoil under that to give it a much better chance for them roots to take underneath. It'll also improve drainage because that ground out there is way too hard, and of course water will drain through the new topsoil nice and easy. And the third reason we're going to use the topsoil is to get the perfect level, or near enough perfect anyway. Now, fortunately, Speedy Hire, who I get all my equipment off, have given us a digger and a little dumper over there, and I'll link them in the description. So what we're going to do now is start loading some of this topsoil, dumping it in the places we want it, and then we'll spread it out. We're really lucky to have the digger. If we didn't have the digger, we'd have to resort to shovels, and it's far too hot for that. And if you are following along, my advice is to dump the soil somewhere near where you want it to end up because it's quite hard to rake around, so you want to do as least amount of that as possible. Our plan is to dump big piles of topsoil in each corner first. We've got a slight high in the middle of this area, so there's going to be a little bit thinner in the middle and a bit deeper around the edges. We'll show you how we get the levels right in a minute, but for now, the visual low spots, all I'm going to do is go around with the dumper and dump a barrow full each time into them low spots, and then we'll start worrying about the finer details a little bit later in the process. Now we've got a few piles to work with. I think our concreting tool is going to come in handy again, and we can use that because it's a little bit easier than a rake to actually control the surface a bit better. You can level it out better where a rake digs in. So I will link you one of these because if you're doing this job, I think it's really going to help. You'll find a rake, like, see what I mean? The spikes dig in, you get that sort of bit at the start. I think that's much harder to use, so I'll link one of them for you. Just getting that soil in, we'll do this all the way around, and then we'll start worrying about levels. We've got probably about 30 mil of turf to go on top of the soil. Remember, this level is going to go down a bit because we're going to heel it in and compact it down a little bit. Show you that in a little while. So we don't want to end up any less than about 30 mil, maybe 40 mil below that edging, because we want the grass to come up fairly close to the edge, and it's not going to be up to the top of it because we'd have to put far too much soil in to achieve that, but maybe 10 mil lower the edging will be fine. Obviously if you're copying along, it's going to be different for you, but gauge what height you want. Can use pegs if you really need to come up to the pegs, so pop some pegs in your existing soil and work out your heights and then come up to the top of them. What we're going to do now is get a long piece of timber and use it like a massive trowel and go over the top of it to get a perfectly level finish so we don't get lots of little humps and lumps and bumps. So you'll see by doing that, what we do is we expose the high spots because we drag the tops off them, and we also show the low spots. So you can see there it's not touched, there's a low spot there. So the stuff we take off the top goes in these gaps here, we build them bits up. It's going to take us a little while to trowel this, make it nice and flat, take any lumps and bumps off it, and then use the piece of wood again to give us a guide. And what I found, it's got some similarities to plaster, and every time you do a trowel over it, it gets that little bit better. But here's the magic ingredient that you don't want to miss. You want to lay a piece of timber on the soil and walk back and forth over it. Now this is not the same as healing it in, we'll get to that. But what this does is just takes the fluffiness off the top of the soil and allows you to see where the really little tiny low spots are, so you can come back with a shovel, fill them and correct them. Now it's all looking flat, it's looking pretty good. We've dragged the bit of wood across the whole lot. We filled in any divots, just chucked a few shovelfuls in where there's any divots, and it's now looking really nice and flat. But now we're going to ruin it because we need to heal it in. So it's going to take us a little while, and it's a pretty boring job. We're about to walk all over the whole thing, and then we'll show you the next step. But we do need to get it nice and compact, because otherwise if we just lay turf on it, it's going to sink in all kinds of places. But this is when I wish I had size 12 feet, don't you, Chris? It's not the most exciting task, but it's an important one that you definitely don't want to skip. So it's now a lot more compact, but we've got loads of footprints in there, so we need to do something about that. We've got this Artemis lawn leveler, and what we do is we drag that in different directions. You don't put much weight on it, you just let the weight of the tool do its thing, and you can see that that just takes the very top off where our boots have been and just get things nice and level. That'll take out any of the low spots and any of the high spots, and we'll just end up with a bit of a loose surface on the top, but you can see it's still very compact. So it's a good tool, and I'll pop it in the description with everything else you might need for your job. Now it's compact and it's pretty flat, but we're not done yet because we've exposed where it's deeper and sunk more some of the low areas. So the rest of the soil we've got, we're going to bring it in and we're going to top it up now. And that's going to bring it up to about 3 inches, which is the absolute minimum you want. We patched in the low spots, built up the level, and now more of the same. Still healing it in. It's been a while. It's got to be worth a subscribe if you haven't already. A lot of people say they don't actually realise they're not subscribed, and it's free, and it helps me get up to 1 million subscribers. Because I feel like we're not that far away. We should hit it next year, and we've got something pretty special coming. And I plan to, when we do hit 1 million subscribers, send some freebies out to you guys. So subscribe if you can, if you haven't, and hit like, because that helps this video reach other people. Now it's got a slight fluffiness to the surface, but it's nicely compacted, and the leveler has taken out a lot of the small dips that were left after we got the rough level with the boards. So I'm pretty happy with it, but there is one step left, and that is to water it in. Watering it in will help to firm it all up and bind the particles of soil together. It's not going to do the same job as firming it, but it will definitely help to give you that final result just before the turf. And not only that, of course, it's going to give the turf the best chance of taking quickly. So with that bit done, we can now move on to the turf laying, which should be much easier. Famous last words. So we've got 2 big pallets of turf arrived. This looks like some really good quality turf. It cost me about £600. You want to get this off the pallet fairly quickly because you don't want it to dry out. So try and order it in on the same day that you lay it. What we're going to do now, get it all around the back near where we're working, and then we can start laying it. So we're going to start along the long edge, looking away from the house, because we want to look down the stripes of the lawn. So pick a long edge if you're following along and work in one direction. You'll see we've got some big bits of timber. You're going to want something like these scaffolding boards to kneel on once we get going, but we can simply lay the first one in. We want to be tight to any edges. If you're not tight to an edge, the edge of the turf will dry out, so we want to make sure we're tight to the edge. And we'll roll this first row all in the same direction, because we want the natural grain of the grass to all run in the same direction. Right, first cut, we got to this little angle here, so I'm going to lay this one in, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to cut it. Now you can use any large sharp blade to cut your turf. I'm using a Halterfizz insulation blade, it's perfect for the job, and then I'm pulling that grass tight to the edge, again so it doesn't dry out. And it's also really important that we do that with the joints in each piece of turf. What I'm doing is pulling them tight together and then pushing them down at the same time, and that butts them up really tight. So you can see the natural lines of the blades of the grass, so you get a slight colour difference as we work our way across. Each row we lay in the opposite direction. That just looks a little bit nicer from the house. So you can see we're staggering the joins as we go. You don't want joins to run across each row of turf. You want them to be staggered. And that'll just interlock the turf a little bit better so that gaps don't open up. So we're about halfway through, starting to really transform it now, but you will inevitably get some little gaps every now and again, because not every roll's exactly the same. It's cut very slightly different. You will sometimes, there's not many, but get very small little gaps between some of the rows. So all I'll do with them is I've kept some of that topsoil. I'll pop a little bit of that in there to level it up, fill the gaps, and pop some seed in there. And this is going to get watered over the next month continuously, and that will grow and it will look fine by the time everything's settled in. As we work across the lawn, we walk over boards on each roll that we lay, and that'll take out any air bubbles or little gaps underneath each roll of turf so that they get good contact. And there we go, a day, and we've done 153 square meters of turf. Looks really good. You can see where we did those lines in different directions, and yeah, it's looking really smart. Now we just got to water it. I'm going to water it overnight and probably water it at least 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how much sun we get, and that should grow really nicely. The last time I used this exact turf in this method, it was an amazing lawn, so I'm really happy with that. Now, it's been 2 days since I laid this lawn, and it's done nothing but rain because, well, we do live in the UK after all. But honestly, it's completely changed the garden, and it's one of the biggest visual improvements that I've done to this property yet. So if you want to see more garden transformation projects, click one of these videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.